Good evening, all. I'm Dr. Shailaja, consultant endocrinologist from Tirupati. Today, we have a case study about a 53-year-old corporate executive who is being diagnosed with diabetes recently 6 months back. Now, he came for the routine checkup at a clinic where he was complaining of weakness. He has a strong family history which was positive for hypertension and myocardial infarction. He being a heavy smoker for almost 30 years, though he quit the smoking 5 years ago and has been trying to lead a healthier lifestyle. There's a previous history of myocardial infarction 3 years back for which he was managed. On physical examination, the patient is obese with a BMI of 30.7. Blood pressure is under control. Laboratory evaluation revealed poorly controlled sugars with HbA1c, that is glycosylated hemoglobin, of 8.4%. In spite of being on statins and antiplatelet drug therapy, his LDL cholesterol is elevated 137 milligrams per dl. And he had evidence of microalbuminuria with urine albumin creatinine ratio of 50. Coming to the drug history, he is on metformin, which he is taking 1 gram twice a day, so total counting for 2 grams per day, that's the maximum dose. Or for the antihypertensives, he is on telmisartan and amlodipine drug. And for the dyslipidemia and with the past history of MI, for the secondary prevention, he is on clopidogrel combination drug along with the statins. Patient-centric approach to management should be cardiovascular protection, especially in diabetic patients, microvascular protection, weight reduction if they are overweight or obese, and reach good glycemic goal with A1C around 7% with very less chances of hypoglycemic events. And most of the time, the drug dosing should be convenient for the patient to approve the drug. So in this patient, the primary consideration is cardioprotection, especially the secondary prevention, and to avoid further cardiac events in view of previous MI and strong family history of MI with hypertension, and also to optimize the glycemic control for cardiovascular risk reduction and address any weight issues as he is obese and the BMI is almost 30.7. We all know that diabetes is a complex disease characterized by chronic hyperglycemia, which gradually increases over time. Diabetes is associated with other cardiovascular risk factors such as abdominal obesity, which is quite common in the Southeast Asians and Indians, that was being explained by the YY paradox, arterial hypertension, dyslipidemia, thrombogenic status, low-grade inflammation, and oxidative stress. These risk factors accelerate atherothrombosis, resulting in cardiovascular disease such as coronary heart disease, stroke, or peripheral arterial disease. Almost 2/3 of diabetic patients die with CVD and almost half from the coronary artery disease. So, we need to have a good glycemic control, be a bit aggressive if the sugars are not under control. So we need to go for combination drugs if required. So as such, diabetic patients commonly live with multiple comorbidities, among which hypertension and cardiovascular disease are the most common. Monotherapy cannot address these multiple defects and often lead to failure to maintain glycemic control over time. Current diabetes guidelines, both the American Diabetes Association and American Academy of Clinical Endocrinologists, encourage early adoption of oral combination therapies while simultaneously emphasizing the importance of individualized treatment. Even ADA recommends high-risk patients with established diabetes, the decision to treat with the SGLT2 inhibitors or GLP-1 receptor agonists is required to reduce the MAS, that is a major adverse events with cardiovascular events, hospitalization due to heart failure, cardiovascular death, or CKD progression should be considered independently of the baseline A1C. So fixed dose combination pills may improve the patient adherence by once daily dosing. Less complex treatment regimens, preferably taken in the early mornings before breakfast. Fewer pills, improved side effect profile and adherence clinches towards the SGLT2 inhibitors with the DPP4 inhibitor combinations that are available as fixed dose regimens. Then the benefits received are cardiorenal protection. It's a simple regimen. One daily dosing, like one OD dosing is enough. And studies have even shown that durability is quite good with the DPP4 inhibitors. Weight loss can be seen with the SGLT2 inhibitors and less chances of hypoglycemic episodes because of non-insulin dependent mechanism of action in controlling the sugars. So, SGLT2 inhibitors as such block the glucose reabsorption in the proximal convoluted tubule. DPP4 inhibitors improve the glucose metabolism by blocking the enzyme, that is the DPP4 enzyme that degrades the incretins, leading to increased insulin secretion. Expert opinion is that both empagliflozin and linagliptin combination therapy have established safety and efficacy in the management of diabetes. Available data demonstrates absence of pharmacological interactions when the two drugs are given together. And single tablet formulation of EMPA and the linagliptin has capacity to both effectively and safely manage diabetic patients. This was being given proven by the studies like EMPA-HEART, where the study on the empagliflozin in patients with type 2 diabetes showed that empagliflozin resulted in early and significant reduction in left ventricular mass regression as detected by the cardiac magnetic resonance imaging, and also suggests reverse cardiac remodeling, which may be a possible contributor to the cardioprotective effects of SGLT2 inhibitors. This was even proven by the EMPA-REG outcome. Several mechanisms have been proposed for the cardiovascular effects of SGLT2 inhibitors, including natriuresis, osmotic diuresis, leading to blood pressure lowering, decrease in the arterial stiffness and vascular resistance, decrease in the weight, and decrease in the uric acid and oxidative stress. And regarding the linagliptin, the Carmelina trial and the Carolina trial have shown that linagliptin has demonstrated cardiovascular and renal safety versus of linagliptin versus the placebo when added to the standard care in patients with type 2 diabetes who are at high risk of vascular complications. So studies have also shown that HbA1c decrements by the combination therapy of EMPA and the lino with a dosage of 25 of empagliflozin and linagliptin 5 mg has demonstrated 1.81% of HbA1c reduction at the baseline HbA1c being more than or equal to 8.5% at 24 weeks. The combination offers a suitable component in strategy to achieve the target A1C without hypoglycemic episodes and weight gain in patients with high baseline A1C levels, together with the cardioprotective benefits in the diabetic patients. So, concluding, empagliflozin and linagliptin combination has shown good efficacy and tolerability in the treatment of diabetes. It is commonly prescribed due to glycemia and cardiovascular benefits in type 2 diabetic patients in India. And studies have also proven their efficacy and safety profile in Japanese patients. Thank you.